Well, hello and welcome, whether you are listening to the audio or actually you are watching live. Welcome. I'm excited because I have Valerie Huard, and she is the author of Put That Stuff Your Put That Stuff Down. Yeah, put that stuff down. Coping with PSTD through a decluttering journey. I'm gonna repeat that because I get excited when I saw it. It's put that stuff down. Coping with PSTD through a journey of decluttering. So, Valerie, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, it's such a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me, Janet.
So, before we get into really PSTD, I would like for you to share what made you decide to write this book.
So we decided, because I wrote that book with my husband, we decided to write that book because I suffered deeply from PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And I had accumulated so much clutter that at one point we were needing to move because it was posted in another city and the movers cannot move us. We had too much stuff. So he had to move first. I went on a decluttering journey and it's really helped me let go of my trauma. As I was letting go of the clutter, I was letting go of the trauma. So when we were able to reunite the family and starting helping military families and other people and learning even more in decluttering, becoming a professional organizer, we decided that people needs to know. People needs to know because it's too taboo. Post-traumatic stress disorder is a taboo and clutter is a taboo. People are not talking about it. And it is so important to lift that taboo, lift those myths about PTSD and clutter. So that's why we wrote the book.
And you're so right, because the people, they don't want to get rid of their stuff, even though they know they need to, but it's a hindrance. So how can you, like, as it relates to clutter, what are the things that we really just kind of just stop us when we're talking about put that stuff down? Like, what are the things that are really stopping us from putting it down, but also letting it go?
So the first thing I will say, I bring it a bit to the decluttering journey. Okay. So basically what happened is when someone had a trauma, their brain is like working a little bit differently than other people. And we see that on MRI and things like that. So what happened is their brain become on a higher level of alertness than other people. Okay, so where the stress is manipulated or managed in the brain works a little bit different, and people are always alert, wondering, is there something else will happen to me? And because of that, the level of what we call cortisol, the stress hormone, is becoming higher and higher and higher. But contrarily to other people, it does not reduce as much during the night. So it's always stay too high. And listen to that. The problem when it's too high, it is slowing down the frontal lobe. And this is where are what we call the executive functions. So it's a big word, executive functions, but basically it's where are your focus. It's where is your capability to plan, to organize, to sort. So making those decisions about keeping or not your item is directly related to that part in your frontal lobe. So when the cortisol is too high, I'm not saying that it's not working. I'm saying it is slow down. So it's burn more energy to be able to utilize those capability of us. Therefore, people become more overwhelmed. People become overtired. So it's become more difficult to achieve decluttering.
And I can, as you were talking, I was thinking of someone who is in the process of moving and they have an opportunity to move to another state, really start over, great, relationship waiting for them there. But it's like all of that stuff that they're just like, it's like a tug of war. It's like, look, you're moving into a new space, new stuff. Why are you holding on to the old stuff? Kind of let it go. And so, and wow.
Yeah. It's not as easy as that. So often those people will pack the box and bring the stuff with them.
Yeah. And I see that. I see that. That's why personally, I'm getting rid of stuff, Valerie. I'm like, I know I'm moving. I'm like, okay, I'm getting rid of stuff. So for somebody who realizes after listening to you, that's me, what is like something they can do? Like, okay, what can I do like to move forward to kind of let go? So I'm not holding on to this stuff, or I'm not moving it from room to room and location to location.
So I have multiple tips. Like the first one is really to reduce the stress. Okay. Like I said, I have a 4-step process. The really first one is to reduce the stress. But if I move you a little bit forward in my process, because we let go, we declutter the stress, the time, the mind, and the space. So if I bring you forward in the space decluttering, when you let go of the belongings, okay, please wear a pair of gloves. Please do wear a pair of gloves. Okay, I will explain you why. When you touch belongings, there's a signal between your sense of touch and the limbic system in your brain, okay? And this is where all the wave of emotion and memories and feeling about that object are coming. Oh, you know, it's Auntie Betsy who gave it to me at my wedding. Oh, it's my mother gave it. She will know if I let go of it. All of those little talk and those emotions that make you stop and procrastinate the decluttering, it's because of the sense of touch. Okay? So people that do not have had traumatic event in their life, they're able to manage those waves of emotion. People that have had trauma, it's harder to manage those waves of emotion and internal talk. But by wearing the gloves, people declutter 40% more. And they're able to continue the decluttering session instead of stopping and procrastinate. And even more, at the end of an hour of decluttering, they're less exhausted than if they had declutter without gloves.
I love that, because as you were saying that, Valerie, last week I worked with a woman and she had all these T-shirts. And she said, Janet, I just want this size and this size. Everything else can go. And it was like she really reduced over half of her shirts because she was in another room. She didn't see it. And it was like you said, she didn't touch it or feel it. But you're right, when you feel it and touch it and they look at it and they start thinking, and all of a sudden they're like 20 years ago. You are so right. So wear the gloves. And you said 40%. I'm going to have to put that down because I'm going to have to share that. Like, people, let's wear gloves, or either let's just Janet, just touch it. So that was.
And please do say to people that the gloves idea is coming from myself.
Yes, and I will.
Because
I definitely will.
I think it's my little ick on the market. Like, it's really, I'm there to share that.
Yeah, and that's a great, and I'm definitely going to let people know that you shared it. So, with all the things that you have to manage, Valerie, how do you stay organized? Is there one thing that you do that really helps you maintain order in your home as well as your life?
So the maintaining, that is the phase more at the end, it's really to have a code. Like, now that your stress is reduced, now that you know how to declutter, now that you know all those things, it's to do not allow to let a glass on a side table in the living room. When you leave the living room, you bring the glass with yourself, you put it in the dishwasher. If you have a dishwasher, of course. But otherwise you wash it. But it is really to, just before going to bed, is my place in a state that I want to be welcoming next morning? Because it's not just about welcoming other people in your place. It's welcoming yourself every single morning. Like, how do I want to be welcome in my house in the morning? Do I want to be welcome with the clutter, or do I want to be welcome with tidiness and organized? It's not the same peace of mind. You know, when we get in a spa, that feeling when we arrive in a spa or in a resort or a big hotel or something, it's kind of, oh my God, I feel lift up, you know? Everybody can experience that every single morning. It's there. It's possible. Everybody that's listening right now, you can experience that in the morning, every single morning.
I liked it. I like what you just said, Valerie. It's like, what do you want to experience every single day in your home and in your space? Wow. You have shared so many wonderful just nuggets, tips, and strategies. How can the listeners and those watching connect with you?
So the link will be in the description. So, but if they search about DOWell, or if they search my name either on YouTube or in Facebook, they can connect to me pretty easily. But the link directly to my website, where we have all the information about myself, my podcast, and everything, will be in the description. And I have a surprise also with you. So there's another link that will be there, and it's for my 7 secrets of decluttering. And today I just share one, the one about the do not touch when you declutter. But I have 7 for you inside that one.
Oh, wow. And of course, as you know, I will be sharing all of Valerie's links in the description. And again, she shared one with us, but she says she's got 7. So make sure you sign up and get those tips. Well, Valerie, thank you so much for your time today. It is so greatly appreciated.
So much a pleasure. Thank you.